Hi, this is Maria from Crochet A to Z, and welcome to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please push that subscribe button and please push that like button because it gets the algorithms out there. And thank you. I want to thank everyone for being here. And today I want to just zero in on the half double crochet and some other little things that I want to go over. This is for beginners and for anyone that has not picked up a crochet hook. And I am using an eye hook for this particular tutorial that I'm doing. On this, I used a G hook. So these are my half double crochets, and I'm going to pull out a little bit. And I'm going to count the rows because I want you to see how you count the rows. This is row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7, and row 8. I also want to mention, if you're not sure what I'm counting, all you have to do is, if you pull this apart, you can see a half double crochet there, so that's your row 1, your row 2 a half double crochet, your row 3, your row 4, your row 5, row 6, row 7, and row 8. So you can see, you can just pull it apart and say, okay, that's the half double crochets. The other thing that I wanted to show you is that on some of these rows, I crocheted in the back loop only. And because I did that, it gave us this little ridge right here. And this is where I crocheted in both loops. So I want you to see the difference. See the little ridge? And there's none there other than what's from on the bottom. But this is the ridge I'm talking about. And when I say these are your V stitches, these are your stitches, so you can tell your stitches. And when I say I crocheted in the back loop only, when you pull up these loops, this is your front loop and your back loop. I crocheted in this loop only in some of these, just this. And that's what formulated this. When I did both loops, instead of like this, I ended with the last one here. When I did both loops, and I'll show you the front back loop, then you don't get that little ridge that you see here. So I wanted to mention that as well. So let's get started, and let's concentrate on doing some half double crochets. Again, beginners and anyone that's never picked up a crochet hook. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a slip knot. And then I'm going to chain, but I'm not going to chain any particular amount. Now I want to mention, if you wanted to make a scarf, if you wanted to make an afghan with a half double crochet, you can. As you can see, it's a beautiful stitch. So if you wanted to, you could. And you would have to make as many chains as you want it wide. So you make as many chains so that you get the width. So I'm going to just do a number of chains. I'm not even going to count them. And I'm going to show you that these are your chains because they look like these. This is your slip knot at the very end, not considered a chain. And this is your working chain. That's where you have all the chains that multiply and multiply until you get what you need to make whatever it is you're making. So now once I get to my desired width that I want to show you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this second chain from the hook. So this is my working chain. There's another chain there. You can hardly see it, but it's there, and number 2. I'm going to go right in there and I'm going to make a half double crochet. So here's my chain on my hook. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go in the second chain from the hook and I'm going to go into that chain. I'm going to pull up this loop. I have 3 chains on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go through all 3 of these chains. And that will be your half double crochet. Now I'm going to yarn over again because I want to go right across and do the same thing in this next chain. I'm going to go in and pull up this loop. I'm going to yarn over, and again, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to get this that I've yarned over with, and I'm going to go right through all 3. And I'm going to continue to do this right across. Again, yarn over, go into the next chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And we're going to just continue to do this right across. And you'll see, if you want to write this down, if you want to get some yarn and crochet along with me. And again, I want to say that if you're just starting out and you want to start out slow, you can do this stitch and make a beautiful afghan, a beautiful scarf, whatever. And we're going to crochet right across with a half double crochet stitch. And we're going to do this in every chain across. And you're getting to the end, and don't forget that last stitch before your slip knot, and you go right in there. And here's your half double crochets, and I'm going to just pull this so you can see them. There's your half double crochets. Now what you're going to do, we're going to chain 1 and chain 2, and we're going to turn our work. We're not going to go in this first stitch because this chain 2 counts as a half double crochet, but we're going to go into the next one, and we're going to start our half double crochets again right across. We're going to go right below, or should I say right below we have half double crochets. We're going to go right above that. So if you look at your stitches from below, you're going to mimic them above. So you're going to go above, there's a half double crochet, we're going to go above that. So we're going to half double crochet from the stitches below. And you're going to go into every stitch, and you always make sure that you have the same amount of stitches once you first start out. So if you do 20, whatever the amount of stitches are, you want to continue that. So if you know that you've done it for the first couple of rows, then you should be fine, unless you end up dropping stitches. And that usually happens sometimes when we forget a stitch, or when we drop that last stitch at the end because it doesn't look like there's a stitch there when there is. And I'll show you when we get to the end. So here's another half double crochet here. And sometimes it'll be tough when you first get started, because depending on whether you crochet tight or loose, sometimes everybody crochets with a different amount of tension. Now this is what I'm talking about. You might say, well, there's not a stitch there, but there is. That's your last stitch. That's where you have your last stitch, and you're going to go in there and you're going to make a half double crochet. Now you're going to look at that, and that was row 2. Now we're going to do chain 1 chain 2, and turn our work. We don't go in here because this chain 2 counts as a half double crochet, so we're going to go into this next stitch from below, and we're going to do our half double crochets right across. And then we're going to discuss how many rows we have and how to count those rows. So we're going to go right across, and we're going to do our half double crochets. And this is all acrylic yarn. I just want to mention to you it's acrylic yarn, and it is a 4-weight yarn. You could even make face cloths with this pattern. Very, very nice. If you wanted to make a number of things. So this stitch is very versatile. So we're getting to the very end. Once again, and in this very last stitch, let's not forget it, we've got to make a half double crochet at the very end. This last stitch, we're going to make a half double crochet at the very end. I just want to mention that. So here are your half double crochets. We have 3 rows, and we're going to show how to count them. Here's row 1, here's row 2, and here's row 3. And if you pull them apart, you can see here's a half double crochet in this row, got a half double crochet in this row, and a half double crochet in this row. So you have 3 rows of half double crochets. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chain again. We're going to chain 2 again and turn our work 1, 2. And again, we don't put anything in this first stitch because this counts as your half double crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to just do in the back loop only. So we're going to go, and here we go. We're going to yarn over. Here's the front loop, and here's your back loop. And let me put the crochet hook there. Front loop, back loop. So we're going to crochet and make a half double crochet in the back loop only. And we're going to do this not all the way across, but we're going to do this across. And we're just going in the back loop. And if you pull this up, you can see it. Here's your front loop, here's your back loop. We're going to do a couple more stitches of the half double crochet in the back loop only. And here they are. And see that ridge from the half double crochet that you made in the back loop only? You start to see. Now we're going to crochet a half double crochet in both loops. So we're going to go, and I'm going to pull this out, in both this and this. So in your V stitch, you're going to grab both these stitches, and you're going to make a half double crochet in every stitch across, and we're going to pick up both loops. And if you wanted to make something and you wanted to do a row of half double crochets all front loop and then another row of half double crochets all back loop only, you could, and it would look very nice. Now don't forget, we've got to go into this last stitch because a lot of times that's where crocheters end up dropping stitches. And if you notice, you've got an even here, and you're fine here. You haven't dropped anything. So now if you look at this, and I guess I should pull out a little bit, you can see where you did the back loop only, because you've got 2 rows of this line. So that's your front loop sticking out. In this side, you did the front and back loop together. So if you look at that, you can tell where you stopped. I stopped right here, and I did all of these were all back loop only half double crochets. When I go beyond this, I see that I did both loops into both loops, and I did half double crochets. Now I want to say that we're going to count again. We have row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. We have 4 rows here of half double crochets. And again, if you wanted to make sure, there's row 1, there's your half double crochet, there's row 2, there's your half double crochet, there's row 3, your half double crochet, and there's row 4, your half double crochet. And that's how you can tell if you're worried that you didn't count it. That's another way to just check and make sure that it's correct. And this is the 2 different colors. This is Lion Brand yarn, and this is also Lion Brand, in case you're wondering. But this is Maria from Crochet A to Z, and I hope you liked this tutorial of the half double crochets, of the half double crochets in the back loop, and the half double crochets in both loops. I wanted to show you that, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I also want to wish you all a very happy and healthy Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe out there, keep crocheting, and I love you all. Bye-bye.